This video is going to be done on a horse farm in Kentucky that wants to do a duck blind, or has done a duck blind. This was the view I took back in August when it was dry. I tried to talk him into letting me work then, but he wasn't ready. So I flew the drone over and looking at the area. He didn't know what he wanted, and I certainly didn't. So anyway, we just flew to kind of get an idea of what's going on in this mess, because it's thick down in there even when it's dry. But if you'll notice right there in the center, the trees are alive, right, and I'm assuming that's kind of a little bit of a high spot in the swamp that doesn't hold water, because he floods this in the winter for duck season. And then when you get over the hump, the water, I'm assuming, goes the other way out of this thing, but he blocks it on the other end to flood it in the wintertime. It is a horse farm in Kentucky, and I don't know how much view you've got of the rest of this farm, but it's a beautiful farm. And you can see some of the edges on some of this area around in this swamp right in the middle. And here is the dam that he built to block this thing out. Now we went in there this fall and started cleaning. I just told him, let me get in there and work for a little while. We'll see what we can come up with. So we got in there and got to work. It rained a little bit, obviously. As soon as we started working, it rained. I went in, did a little bit more. I was going to put the GoPro on the excavator. Just never got a chance to get in there and do that, so I have to do this voiceover. Here Juan is going in. Most of those are ash trees that you see dead. It is my opinion that he is pretty much, because he just built this flat area for the duck season, and it works great for him in the duck season. But it wasn't good for the trees and the ash trees. The ash trees were dying anyway, and those are the green trees you see in there are oaks. I'm assuming swamp oaks that are the only ones still alive. And I think since it hadn't been doing this but about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, he started flooding it, and that's when he lost more trees than otherwise would have been lost. Like I say, except for the ash trees. The ash trees were dying anyway, and they're all over this country. And it's a shame. It's horrible to look at. But anyway, here's kind of an overview. Like I say, Juan's working. We had done the side on the right before it rained, and then when it rained, we shot across where the water wasn't too deep and got on the left-hand side and just making piles. I'm hoping to maybe get in there next year and maybe burn these piles or let them rot down. Don't really know, how much we're going to be able to do with it, because this is something new for me that I've not done before. These areas out here, the little green spot there on the left, it is an actual, they put a portal blind on that one, and then there's some out in the middle. He's actually got a buried blind in the mound. So, but like I said, if you kind of look around at the beautiful horse farm in this area, but they still like their duck hunting. So, but I think it's amazing in this area. That field right there with the crisscrosses in it, it was their dove field. Like I said, he likes to hunt. So anyway, we went in and did what we could do, tried to do something with this swamp. We don't know at the end of the day whether we will continue next year, and maybe he wants to get in there and plant some trees that might survive, in the water, the wet environment. So we'll just give it a try, see. Uh, but as we were doing this, and as naturally what happens when you start on something like this, it rained after we worked one day and put this much water in it. By the way, that dark spot there is the main blind. There's a buried concrete duck blind in there. But we really don't know what we're going to do next year. It kind of depends on what he wants to do, how this survives the winter, whether it hunts better for him. I don't know. We're just going to take it little at a time. I told him, give me a few days to work on it, and we'll see what we can do. Yeah, the big dark spot there is their buried duck blind. No, I take that back. The little one right in the middle is the buried duck blind. There's a concrete pit in there, and the part over to the left is where it's actually dammed up. When I showed you in the first of the video, that's where the water is dammed up, and he can pull the boards and somewhat drain it, which is what it did, for years and years. And I think when he started damming it up, he lost a few more trees. But as you might know, overnight, 2 days later, we got 4 inches of rain. And now here's the area. And as you can see, if you're a duck hunter at all, you can see this is a paradise. So for ducks, and they have a good time here. But anyway, there's the spot in the middle that's, the trees are still alive. And I haven't been able to get in there to see if, in fact, right now, it's probably a little bit dry right there. Because it's got to be maybe 6 inches higher there than it is on the other end. So, like I say, we're going to just take it a little at a time and see what happens and see what he wants to do with it. This area truly is amazing for scenery. Uh, we live here all our life, and we see it all the time. We don't think much, but when you put a drone in the air and can see it puts a different perspective on what we have in this area. It's horse country. It's a good farming country as well, but these horse people put a lot of money in the area, as you can see, and we blend together with. I'm a excavator slash farmer, but not a horse farmer. So, but as you can see, what these folks do for the area and the economy. We knew we were going to get this rain overnight, and I took the excavator and pulled it up on. That's a little bit of a high spot right there. My fuel trailer and excavator is sitting there, and you can see if we get another rain, will this whole area be underwater? But I just pulled it up on a little bit of high ground. we'll see what happens. But I think, for all practical purposes, we are done for the year. We'll see what happens. So as the usual, they say like and subscribe and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.